Free will and determinism. Free will is a moral, religious, and social concept that is central to philosophy and most religions. It has been argued that the basis of freedom lies in the contingency of natural events. Though this line of reasoning has been by and large abandoned, for freedom to exist at all, the concept of strict universal causality will have to be suspended, at least in the moral sphere. Another line of thought sees the foundation of freedom in spirituality. The soul, as immaterial, is not subject to the deterministic laws of nature. Whatever the explanation, belief in free will amounts to the conviction that, as individuals, human beings are endowed with the capacity for choice of action, for decision among alternatives, and specifically that, given an innate moral sense, humans can freely discern good and evil and choose the good, though they often do not. Determinism is a philosophical view that, given certain initial conditions, everything that ensues is bound to happen as it does, and in no other possible way. Thus nothing in nature is contingent, nor is there any room for human freedom. The partisans of a hard determinism hold that none of one's actions is free, but only appear to be so. Consequently, moral responsibility is an illusion as well. Soft determinists, or compatibilists, believe that while one's actions are indeed caused, one is nevertheless free, since causality does not compel one's will. Most religions have sought a theological solution to this dilemma. In Hinduism, even though the blame for evil is usually cast upon the God who causes human imperfections and thus dooms humanity to downfall, people are still held morally responsible for their woes, as they are for corrupting other human beings. Parents are considered morally responsible for their children's, even physical, constitution. A concept present across the board in Asian religions, from Jainism and Brahmanism to Buddhism, Sikhism, Parsi, and animistic religions, is karman, which mainly points to action and reaction in the long series of reincarnations, but is erroneously understood sometimes as rigid universal determinism, fate, or even retributive justice. Actually, karman encompasses the unity and interrelatedness of all phenomena, their fundamental contingency, and the acts or rituals, karman, capable of destroying the bonds of transmigration. Under the law of karman, an individual is essentially free to accept or to attempt to change the chain of cosmic events. There are many oscillations, from myth to myth and scripture to scripture, and ambiguities concerning the status of the individual in the cosmos. On the one hand, he or she might be considered as a passive entity subject to the laws of the universe, now weakened and contaminated, now strengthened and purified by the flow of events. On the other hand, the individual enjoys a certain amount of spontaneous freedom. In any case, the goodness to which one should aspire is the integration and the harmony of ambivalent features rather than their dissociation. This is what makes the Hindu concept of free will radically different from the Judeo-Christian one. There are two main concepts designating freedom in Indian philosophy. The one is Swaraj, self-rule, which appears already in the Chandogya Upanishad and has definite social, political, and moral connotations. The other is Moksha, which has the psychological and metaphysical connotations of deliverance, emancipation, and release. There is both a tension and a synthesis between the two, out of which the real notion of freedom in Hinduism emerges. Moksha is, however, the ultimate goal of Hindu religion. It is freedom from karman and bondage, a freedom to be attained not after death, but here and now through physical and mental discipline. Biological and social freedom is a necessary yet not sufficient condition for its achievement.